So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Dan here from Several Games. We're here with James, and James got 4th place today with Tenyi. So as you can see, we've got the brand new Tenyi card with the new Synchro and the new level 7 Light Monster. So James, take us through the profile.
Okay, so the first one's the new light one. I had to borrow 2 extras, but ideally we would be playing 3 of. So Tenyis, if you control no effect monsters, they special summon them onto the board, and then they do things whilst you control a non-effect monster. So this one summons when you banish it from grave. You loop it with the earth who banishes itself, add this back to hand, next turn carry on going. Got 3 of the darks. Everyone knows what this one does. This is the bounce back to hand. Got blue, 3 of these. You're basically playing 3s of each Tenyi. So this one, if a non-effect monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, banish this one, summon the one back, and then destroy one monster your opponent controls. Banish this, reduce your opponent's attack by 1,500 when it battles a non-effect monster. And 3 of the earths to banish and recur your monsters. And finally, out of the Tenyi main deck monsters, we've got 2 of the fires, because the field spell protects your monsters from monster effects. This one's just for spell and traps, and we're running at 41 at the moment, still messing with ratios. So they're the Tenyi monsters. Hand traps, 2 ashes to stop your opponent. Bells to stop that cold by the grave, because you don't want that happening. And then the tech cards, 2 Zombinos. They're level 4s, they're normals, they're high attacks, and you, with the Earth one, you've got Nat Beast for control. Got 1 Mermare because you can summon it fairly easily and you get more plays, and 1 Destrudo because you've got Saruja plays. So that's the monster lineup. Then for the spells, we've got 3 of the field spell. Protect your face-down monsters and non-effect monsters. If your opponent special summons monster, draw 2 cards, so Part of Greed in a field spell with extra protection. 1 terraforming to search it out because it's a nice deck thin. We've got 3 of the Dragon Cycle. Send one worm type monster to grave. If you control a non-effect monster, add a worm type with a different name, Tenyi worm type monster, to hand. So you can send Mermare off of this and then just add any of the Tenyis. 3 Cold by the Graves to just stop hand traps. 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Foolish Burial just to help. That possibly might be the card to drop, because you've already got ways of dumping into grave. And finally for the traps, we play 3 of the counter traps. The counter trap, as long as you control a non-effect monster, you can negate anything basically, and if your opponent pops it, you get to special summon a non-effect monster from your extra deck, so it's a non-effect version of Waking the Dragon. And to finally round up all the traps and all the cards, 1 skill drain because your effects go off in hand or in graveyard. Onto the extra deck. The monster we go into the most to start everything off is Monk. Generic Link 1 with no effects. 2 Shaman to recur things back from graveyard. Doesn't have to be Tenyi, can be anything. So I was bringing
Any
back,
worm, yeah.
any worm. So I was bringing back Yazi, which is part of the synchro lineup of the deck. Then I dropped it down to 2 berserkers because by the time you get into 2, it's normally a long drawn out game, and you've gone through almost all your resources, and so have your opponent. And to finish off, you've got one of the new Link 3 Tenyis. So whilst this is on the field and you don't control any other effect monsters, you can pop your opponent's monsters up to the same number of non-effect monsters on your side of the field or in the graveyard. So there were points in time where I was popping 3 or 4 cards. And then to round up the Link monsters, we've got Link Spider, because Mermare, make one of the tokens, you can get Saruja off, and you can get the +4. And lastly, because you normally start with having one of the Tenyi Link monsters, so there's your start. That's the only extra requirement, and all those pops didn't quite see it as often as I wanted to. Next are synchros. 1 Nat Beast, because if you're going first, controlling the deck and controlling the game. 1 Yazi, because you go into Yazi, you pop it, you search out your Mermare, and you go off with the Saruja plays. Nice control, nice bit of adding to board, a little bit of a barrier. And the new Tenyi Synchro. Whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish that monster. If it attacks an effect monster, and sends it to graveyard, gain the attack permanently, and then make a second attack. And to round up the extra deck, because that's your Waking Dragon target.
Excellent. So you can see that the Tenyis with the new support, it's very minimal, like their involvement in the sense, purely because they are effect extra deck monsters, but they're still very, very powerful. And the idea is because they're worms, they can also be looped back from the grave. So sometimes if you want to extend your board a little bit further and go into the higher level Link monsters, you could then use the Berserker as fodder in order to get a little bit higher, then bring it back with the Shaman. And it's actually really, really powerful. The only issue is it doesn't negate the effect.
No.
But it does mean it can bypass Nibiru, and it also means that the field spell can bypass Nibiru as well, because as long as you're playing with the vanillas on board, they can't be destroyed by Nibiru as well. So there's a lot of protection with this deck.
Also, when you get the Nibiru token, your Nibiru token then gets protected by the field spell and your effects. So
you're sitting on a nice big beer that can't really be dealt with.
Yeah.
So that is it for the Tenyi profile. Obviously, there is a couple of interesting texts in this. On Beano is obviously one of them, and it can be very, very useful. And if you have more meta-relevant cards, like if you've got the money and you've got stuff like your Phantasmage, you've got stuff like your Extravagances, if you wanted to, you could gamble with that. But I mean, the field spell pretty much does the job for you on that half. The new cards are cool, they're very, very nice, interesting, and the artwork on all of them is very, very stunning as well. You only really need 1 of the Link and maybe 2 of the Synchro if you want to, otherwise you've got to be running 3 of a Shuna, maybe even drop it to 2 if you really, really need to, because it is searchable quite easily. But for now, thanks for watching, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always guys, happy dueling! What's up YouTube, Dan here with YUGIOH. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always guys, happy dueling.